Hello, I am coming at you live, and tonight we're going to talk about medical legal issues in the emergency department. If you tried to catch my live last week, it was an epic fail. I did do a 30-minute live, and apparently StreamYard, who didn't give two shits about what I was doing, nixed the whole thing. So we're not even going to go there, or maybe I should. I'm trying a different live streaming service tonight, and we're just going to see where this goes. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is medical legal stuff in the ER. This is a touchy subject, and it can be really difficult when dealing with medical legal holds, medical legal blood draws, bookings to jail, bookings to anywhere other than home. And sometimes, we're put in those uncomfortable positions that after an exhaustive effort, we're left holding the bag, holding patients, holding people for an extended period of time, which can usually lead to some feelings on behalf of the nurses, the doctors, the staff. And if you've ever been put in that position, you get it. I get it. But this is kind of a safe place where we can talk about those things. So what I want to do is open up this chat, whatever it is at this point, with 0 people in here, which is fine. I'm actually going to be putting this in the replay, and hopefully somebody will get some benefit from it. But one of the things I want to talk about is I have been watching a lot of videos, which I probably should not do, on YouTube lately, and it appears, and I hate even saying this, it's open season on nurses right now. If you are living in one of the compact states that has had trials as of late or issued different referendums about how you're going to be handled if you're put into a precarious situation or brought before the legal legislature, this could put you in a very difficult position because medical holds as a whole, 5150s in California, we call them 5150, 5151, 52. There's different degrees of medical legal holds, and I'm going to adjust my screen here just a little bit. This can put you in a precarious situation because effectively when you put someone on a hold, you are taking away their civil rights, their rights to do anything outside of sit there for 72 hours in your ER or be evaluated by crisis. This can be really difficult to do, and I've been put in the position many times where people are holding for more than just hours. Sometimes they're holding for days, and this can be a really difficult thing, especially if you're dealing with sensitive populations like pediatrics, geriatrics, special needs adults. The list goes on, but all I can say is the best we can do is document everything. If you didn't document it, it didn't happen. I don't care how good your care was. At the end of the day, what is in your chart matters. What you document matters. So please be very careful how you document. Make sure that you're documenting all aspects of what you do. What the patient says, subjective and objective. What did they say? What do they look like to you? Are they safe? Do they have a plan? Is there self-harm involved or intent for self-harm? Are they going to or are they intending to hurt somebody else? These are very important criteria that we have to document when we're handling legal hold patients. So I know this is going to be difficult as you move forward. If you are a new grad or you are new to the emergency department, you may never have seen this before, and it may be jaw-dropping. For the general public who's never seen it, it may be alarming to understand what's going on, but it's important nonetheless to educate the public about why this is done, and safety is paramount. So if there's anything that you can do, like I said, documenting is important. I hate to say we're doing defensive charting, but that is unfortunately what we've got to do. Don't chart something you didn't do. If you didn't do it, don't chart it. But if you did do it, it benefits everyone for you to chart what you have done, what you have seen. Have you provided any comfort? Are they in view of the nurse's station? Have the safety and security check been done? First thing you need to do on any patient, whether you're triaging or anything else, is document that a safety and security check has been done. Any personal possessions or items that could be harmful to the patient or anyone else are removed. This includes undressing your patient in privacy. You are allowed to take them to the restroom. Make sure that you get them undressed if it's okay. Put them in a gown. If somebody is fleeing the emergency department, it's a lot easier to describe somebody who happens to be wearing a hospital gown. If they don't need to be in a gown, don't keep them in a gown. But at least for the initial medical exam and for the physician clearance, they should be in a gown. This is the one time you have the opportunity to assess them from head to toe. Make sure that there isn't any physical injury to the person that you're assessing, and make sure you document as such. After such a time in which they've been evaluated, you can put their clothes back on. But again, this is kind of an important thing to do, and you can be selective about what you give back to the patient. This is on a medical, legal 5150 kind of situation. If this is a detention booking where the police officers or peace officers have brought this person into the emergency department for a legal blood draw, please make sure that you document everything accordingly. Follow the instructions as they are laid out on the legal paperwork. Make sure that the consent is done. It doesn't matter if they are being booked into jail. If they are in the emergency department for a legal blood draw, they have the right to consent. They are allowed to decline that with you. They can have that blood draw done in jail, and depending on your jurisdiction, if the patient or the detainee decides that they do not want that draw to be done in the emergency department, I'm tripping on words again. If they don't want that draw to be done in the emergency department, you can't force that upon them. Even if the police officer tells you to force it upon them, legally, in the emergency department, you cannot do that. If they decide that they do not want that draw done, it is up to that law enforcement agency to get a representative from their own department to do that draw, and usually that will be done in jail. They have been brought to the emergency department for a clearance, and as a courtesy, they're being given an opportunity to have their blood drawn one more time. In most states, like if you're in California, if someone declines to either do a breathalyzer or to have a legal blood draw done, they automatically lose their license for 1 year, or they have to go to court and have a judge decide whether or not to reinstate that driver's license. Because don't forget, when you get a driver's license, I know in the state of California, you sign a consent that if requested by law enforcement, you will submit to a test. The minute you decline that, your right to drive and your privileges are revoked. They can be brought to the emergency department. The blood draw can be done under consent. And if that consent is not done, it's a no-go. Keep yourself safe. Keep your license safe. Don't do anything that, your policy of your hospital or otherwise tells you that you can't do. Make sure you follow the instructions on that legal paperwork to a T. And that includes prepping the site in which you draw the blood with the provided cleansing solution or whatever's in the kit, or iodine, betadine, that kind of thing, and then document what you've used to prep the site. Don't ever use alcohol. Doing so can negate the test, or it can be a grounds for dismissal of the case at a later time. So you want to be cautious of that, because you don't want your name coming up as someone who did the draw, or you don't want to have to go to court and try to explain to a judge why you did it inappropriately or against the policy or whatever it is of the enforcing agency at the time. So just be cautious, understand what you need to do. If you don't know, ask someone, talk to your charge nurse, talk to anybody of resource position where you work, ask them for some help. There is no shame in asking for help. I tell all my students, new grads, preceptees, please ask for help before you get yourself into a situation where you're in over your head or you've done something in error. And remember, please document everything you do. That is so critical, and I can't enforce that enough. If anything is going to protect your license moving forward, and what we're calling open season on nurses in a lot of places, you've got to document everything you do. Don't step outside the bounds. If someone is resisting a blood draw, do not force it upon them. If someone is trying to flee the emergency department, please do not stop them. That is not your job. You are never to put yourself as a barrier between a patient or someone who's under arrest, between them and the door. If they want to go out the door, let them go. Let the police officers chase them. That's their job. It's not your job. It's not your EMT job. So just keep yourself safe, and remember that, forcing anything, piling on someone who's combative or assaultive, that's not your job. I have been in the emergency department for a very long time, and I have seen many, many times where people have gotten themselves involved in altercations that didn't need to happen. So don't do it. It's just not worth it. What else can I tell you? Make sure that if you have patients who are in need of comfort, just because they're on a medical legal hold doesn't mean that they're not going to be entitled to the rights of being fed when they're hungry, or being warm when they're cold, or being clothed when they're naked. So make sure that you can do everything you can as a nurse advocate to protect their rights. Try to help wherever you can, make them comfortable, and talking to people and letting them know what to anticipate can go a long way. And as I'm sitting here talking to you, I can hear jets over at the airbase going off, which is really annoying, and there's really nothing I can do about it. So I'm hoping this microphone is working. I can't believe that they're going off at this time of night, but they are. So thank you. But thank you to all who are in the service. I know I am a military family. My son is home from the military today, which I'm really excited about. But there are people who are service members who are out there active and working today, this holiday week, which is going to be Thanksgiving soon. And not everybody can be with their family. So if you can try to remember that, say thank you where it's due, that's really appreciated. All of our service members who have to be on bases and eat the military food, I'm so sorry. But anyway, so we want to get back to a couple things. Make sure that you know your laws for your state. If you don't know your 5150, or in the state of California, ours go from 5150 to 5152 and beyond, and depending on the physician or whoever's writing the orders at the time, those are going to depend on the patient needs and the doctor's needs at the time that everything's going on. Hello, I have somebody trying to visit me right now while I'm on a live stream. So just make sure that you know the rules, the regulations, the guidelines, and what do you want? I am on a live stream right now. So sorry. Evan. You're such a dick. There's that. When you have family in the house, things go on. So anyway, as I was saying, 5150s to 5152s, the laws are very different state to state in some ways, but just make sure that you read those documents long before you actually have a patient in your care. It helps to know what those are all about. Reread your policies and procedures at the hospital that you work at or the facility that you work at, whether you work out at jail or a detention center or a hospital. It really doesn't matter. It's important to follow policies to a T. Don't deviate. Document everything. Cover your ass, because that is going to be one of the most important things if it comes between you and the law, or you and court, which it seems to be happening more and more, which I'm so sorry, fellow nurses. I wish this wasn't happening right now, but it is. I'm hoping that there is some legislation around the bend federally which will protect nurses in some way, shape, or form, because I don't think it is appropriate for nurses to be, like I said, open season with DAs and trying to look for low-hanging fruit for prosecutions. I think this is a very misguided attempt at pressing an issue with nurses and saying that they're not to be trusted or whatever. Of course there's situations where that occurs, but trying to make people criminally liable in situations where institutions have failed, I don't think targeting individual nurses is the way to go. So that's just my take on it. I just feel like I've seen way too many videos and read way too many news articles lately about nurses who are facing prosecution, and it's disappointing. Doctors too, they're not immune to this. So we shall see where it goes. Sometimes it makes me feel like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm still doing it after 22 years, and there may be times that I may feel like I don't want to do it anymore again. I'm sure they're coming. As we know, the holidays can bring about lots of feelings. I call it seasonal depression amongst staff, because censuses are high, staff is low, morale gets low, and depending on the facility, things can get tough out there. I sometimes feel like I've been doing this too long, and who knows, maybe retirement will happen sooner than later. I pray to God that I don't ever get forced into retirement. I'm still doing it after all this time, but who knows? I've known several nurses who've retired, and it doesn't shock me. I pray to God that things get better, but again, doing this 20-something years, I want to tell you, the things that I'm hearing about from people who are on social media saying, oh my gosh, this, and this is happening, I can't believe nursing has come to this. I can tell you it's always been this way. Nothing's really changed. It's just we're hearing about it more. Nursing is the same, administrations are the same, attitudes about how things should be run and the way that they are run, they're still the same. I just know that people are more vocal about it and we're hearing about it more. So Does that make it any better? No. It just means that I'm trying to explain to you that what you're seeing over the last few years that is frustrating you is not a new thing. And again, I hope that we can come together as nurses, as community, and keep having conversations about these things because they're important to have. Having conversations, keeping community with one another, and providing support to one another is really important. I think that this goes a long way in facilitating change. That's one of the reasons I chose the name grassroots nursing, is because like there's education at the base level, and through conversation and discussion, nurses can band together and create some kind of activism through these discussions to implement change. And things don't change unless we start uprooting what the problem is and having discussions about how to make it better. I really don't want this forum to be a negative space, but I do want it to be a space of support. I want nurses to be able to come together and talk to one another and feel safe in doing so. And if we need to vent, we need to vent. I may feel one way today, and you may see me on here in a week talking all kinds of shit up one day, up one side and down the other. But, I'm going to try to refrain from doing that. I'm trying to stay positive. I can't always maintain that, but I'm going to try to keep the dialogue on here positive. I do have to say this. If you tried to catch my stream last week, I did a medical legal thing on YouTube as well, and what happened is the whole thing went bust. I'm trying a new streaming service through Prism today. I'm hoping this works out a little better than StreamYard. All I have to say to StreamYard is if you hear this, I am going to shit talk you, because paying $249 a year for a streaming service to stream on YouTube and then popping a icon up on the screen as I'm trying to stream saying microphones or external microphones are not supported is BS. It says we're working on it. That's not good enough. If you're going to charge me $249 a year for your service, it better be able to support a microphone on an iPhone. One of the things we do on YouTube in streaming is try to create good 4K video for people to watch with good audio. So putting it out there and spending hundreds of dollars on a streaming service only to tell me that my audio isn't going to be supported and that you're working on it isn't good enough. So I hope StreamYard hears me loud and clear. Anybody who's supporting StreamYard, please do not support this streaming platform until they have worked out their kinks, because I think it is criminal to be charging people like myself to use a service that isn't worth crap. So there's my little on them. So trying Prism, we'll see how this goes. Until I get to 50 or more subscribers, I'm gonna have to use other app platforms to stream onto YouTube because mobile is not supportive. I have to have 1,000 subscribers, but it's my understanding that if you get to 50, you're allowed to stream mobilely at this point. So fingers crossed. If you have not subscribed, I would greatly appreciate the thumbs up, the subscribe, because it does help me to keep this channel going and the costs down to a minimum, because as we know, streaming platforms like StreamYard and all these other things that you have to use like microphones and likes, they cost money, and I'm doing this because I have a motivation to continue discussion and I want to keep that free of charge. So subscribing will help me. I would really appreciate it. It'll help me, help you, help us keep the discussion going. For all of my ER nurses out there, I love you. I support you. If you know me in the workforce, you know me. If you do happen to see me in my home ER, I have to ask you a huge favor. Please keep this on the DL. If I'm at work and you happen to be like, hey, I know you from there, that's great. I just want to keep my anonymity of where I work and who I am as a person kind of quiet off the social media side of it. Yeah, you may see me in a community ER that is close to home. I'm just asking that you not dox me and put me out there on where I work or what I do, that kind of thing. I do like to keep that a little bit private, only in the sense that I just need to keep my employment or my place of employment private. So thank you for that. But yeah, your subscriptions are always appreciated. I want to keep having conversations. I'm going to be doing another live or a video probably tomorrow on the NCLEX 2023 review. I have gone over the entire mission statements and all of the documents on the NCSBN website. Please don't worry about the 2023 changes to the NCLEX review. from what I can tell, they're already rolled out. But we're going to talk more about that as we go on, because in April 2023, the NCLEX is supposed to change. I do have some information about that I would like to share with you, so that will be coming forth in future videos. So, I know I've spit out a lot of information. I hope that this helps in some way, shape, or form. I know it may not give you like every little tidbit that you need, but hopefully it provides a little morsel of support. Always drop comments in the down there if you have any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But until then, peace out, love you, and many supportive wishes this holiday week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, wait a minute. How do I end this?